Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Spectre Approved Podcast, a podcast where two gamers play a game where Fenris and I go to the Shadowlands, but it's accidentally the wrong Shadowlands. We go to the Shadowlands from the Lion King, and I accidentally killed Simba.
Ah, you bastard.
I'm your host, Adam Forrester, and I'm joined once again by Fenris.
Hi everyone, that's me.
And this episode from our title card is covering Act 2 of Baldurs Gate 3. But first, I want to talk about like the graphics and I guess the dialogue tree, because they're two major things that kind of come into this portion. They're there throughout, but I feel like decision trees definitely start to branch out as we move through Act 2 of any kind of decision-based RPG. We're starting to get, I think it's the crux of where RPGs of this type either fail or do really well, because your decision tree starts to branch out and you can kind of see at this point, at least by the end of Act 2 normally for a lot of things, whether the devs are starting to run out of money or if they're able to continue on with like the high level of quality that we see in Act 1. Because any game can have a really good Act 1, but it's how it kind of goes through the back end of the game and the middle act of where we start to see the cracks appearing, if there's going to be cracks. Yeah. Last episode, we talked about Act 1, obviously, and we also talked about like the development and the release of the game. Fenris, you gave us some awesome insight into the beta and how that kind of changed throughout. But I'll jump into just some specifics, I guess, about the graphics engine and the technical foundations. So they started using the Divinity Engine 4.0, which was in Baldurs Gate 3, which is obviously the heavily evolved version of the engine used in Divinity Original Sin 2. And it's real Vulkan based, so for those that know a lot about rendering, and I'm only going off what I've researched in the last week or so, when we talk about rendering pipelines, like Vulkan's probably you go to. That and DirectX, they're your backends that kind of stop your pop-in of textures and kind of help your, I guess, real-time rendering as we move forward. And it also supports that real dynamic lighting and shadows, which obviously going into a place called the Shadowlands is going to be important. Oh, yeah. And there's lots of things that we use, well, I used as well, particularly in this act, in regards to lighting effects, time of day. Spells start to get more complex as your characters level up, and there's like a lot of objects and stuff that they need to look at. Another thing that Divinity Engine 4 really looked at was some advanced facial animation systems, because like obviously as we're progressing with relationships with our characters as well, starting to delve really into their side quests and their backgrounds and what their end world state's going to be in Act 3. We're seeing more subtle emotional expressions during close-ups and like more transitions between gameplay and cutscene. So everything ran in engine for this game, which I found both as a positive and a negative, because we had that seamless transition between gameplay and cutscenes. I'd also walk into places and get a cutscene, which wasn't really great, because like the story progressed without me. Like you can go back and explore, obviously, but there were times when like I wasn't, I guess, prepared for a cutscene to be happening, and for the story to move on.
Oh yeah. So
Um, yeah,
no, I was
sorry.
just gonna. I had a thought, and my brain is not here today. Please continue.
Okay. Just jump in
All
if it
right.
comes to you. Um, so I guess about the development team for this part of the team. Larian went massive expansion during the development. Like they grew from 120 developers to 400 staff over the course of Baldur's Gate 3. For the art direction, we had Elena Dobranova, who was our head art director, and some technical artists as well, and your animators and your performance team. And also over 200 actors, and we'll get more into that in voice and music next time. But over 200 actors contributed performances just in the motion capture
Yeah.
itself. And there are, I guess, the last little technical bit. There's three, I guess, main type of visual effects in this game, being the cinematic cutscenes, the dialogue cutscenes, and the overworld graphics themselves. So with the cinematic cutscenes, they will obviously use fully directed sequences, camera angles, pacing, blocking. Like the Mind Flayer ship sequence is a big one for this. I feel, and I talked about it last episode as well, but I feel like that's one of the strongest opening cutscenes for a game that I've probably seen, because so much high animation fidelity and dramatic lighting was used through that, and like the composition and the blending and all of that was done um, all in engine. So it wasn't even pre-rendered CGI, because that's how it's able to, I guess. And there is the transition and the loading screen there, but the loading screens, and I guess it would depend on your hardware as well. Like I haven't seen how this goes on a like a base PS5 or a Xbox Series S, which are less powerful machines, but there was still so much in-engine consistency, and I barely had any loading times.
Yeah.
Did
No.
you find that also?
Well, it's just while you were sitting there talking about the opening cutscene, that was something that suffered quite a lot in the beta version. It was just
Okay.
because like the it's just something I always remember was like people would be fluting eyeballs, or there wouldn't be any details. Everything would just be flat. Um, and like there were some times where the rendering just wouldn't happen. Um, and then, but as far as cutscenes go, no, or no, loading screens. As far as loading screens go, um, I
Mm.
haven't had any issues. I think later on in my playthroughs, I am starting to have slower loading times, but that's only strictly because like I have over 100 mods downloaded. So and that's
Yep.
to be expected.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that's what I was going to say as well. My initial load was a bit bigger, but I think that's because I was using or with my most recent playthrough, I'm using a class
Mm-hmm.
mod, which is creating a whole new class. So it's having to, like, I guess, input all those ones and zeros there to be able to use a class that wasn't originally in the game all the way through to the end of the
Okay.
game. Um, Even just like the details on the cinematic cutscenes themselves were, yeah, amazing though. Like it felt like I was watching a movie um with those type of cutscenes.
Yeah, and something that I want to touch on as far as like mods are concerned is that you'll be hard pressed to find
Hmm.
any like graphical mods. You'll find a lot of replacers, but you won't really find any like graphic enhancing things because and I'll stand with this until probably the day I die. But like the graphics of this game are just top notch. Um, they
Yep.
really are some of the best graphics in a modern game that I think I've seen in a while, as far as for what the game is. Obviously, there are games
Yeah.
out there that have better graphics, but the graphics in this game are really really good.
Yeah. And then when we kind of look at dialogue cutscenes, because this is where I guess the ghosts in the machine normally start to show themselves. Like we've seen it before in our Mass Effects, in our Dragon Ages. Like this is where things are going to go funky, if they are going to go funky. Um, because you've got close-ups, shot reversing, full facial animation and body
Hmm.
language, and like you start to see things like height differences really come into play. I know some funny, particularly in a in a game like Baldur's Gate 3, where you've got different character heights. Like you can be a halfling who's 4 foot tall, or you can be a tiefling or a barbarian who's like 6'5", 6'6". Like the height differences, they need to account for that in a cutscene, like depending what character you're going to
Yeah,
use.
and they do a really good. I was
And
just gonna say they do a really good
go ahead.
job of it, because like if you're romancing someone who's taller than you, as like a halfling or a gnome or something, or a dwarf, like, and some games, like I've noticed, they don't really account for that, because like if you go in for a hug or something, like you will hug their legs and they'll hug the air, and in this
Yep,
game, like whoever it is you're romancing or talking to, like they'll get down on your eye level and do things with you there.
that's awesome. That yeah, all right. That's going to be playthrough number 3. A halfling. I'll probably go. I'll go mage. Even though I've already done one, I'll find a class. Um, romancing Kalash, and yep, because I want to see that animation. And we'll get to the romance animations in a little bit. I just wanted to touch on, they use something called 3-point lighting for the faces, and I think like this stops them looking all either not Happy Valley. What's the term where they look like the dudes are Clockwork Orange?
Silicone
Anyway,
Valley. I
the weird kind of like Twilight Zone faces that are just like eerie and like Slenderman and all that shit. But they use the shot types, so they use something called 3-point lighting, which both looks at close up, wide shot, and low angle based on context. And like you said, they did use AI cinematography to be able to maintain eyeline and framing for that camera language to be able to like maintain appropriateness depending on your class or your race. And I just want to talk briefly about the romance scenes. And like it's not going to get too graphic, but obviously if you want to skip ahead, because there are some bits that we're going to talk about romance scenes and funky bits and people having sex. So jump forward 2 minutes if you don't want to talk about this. Because you've done romances before, haven't
Yeah,
you?
I think I've romanced 3 or 4 people out of the 6 you can, I think.
Yeah. Because the quality of these sex scenes, while graphic, are tasteful and to a high quality. Like particularly like the more romance type relationships. Like my most recent one's been Minthara. But there's a scene in that where like she's giving the main character a head job, and you can actually like the movements kind of match with what you would see. And I went back and also did this for a female character because she's a bisexual romance, and they put enough thought into the romance scene to be able to make the fellatio relevant for both genders. So they actually changed her movements based on whether your player character was male or female.
See, I've got something to say about that because I don't know,
Okay.
it's not about Minthar, it's about Karlach's romance. And that's something
Okay.
that I not really have an issue with, but it's something that I noticed as a predominantly male played character. Because one of my romances before Karlach, before I go any further, who all have you romanced?
I've only romanced Karlach and
Okay.
Minthara.
When you romanced Karlach, I'm assuming you were a male, correct?
I was, yes.
How can I phrase this? Were the body positions appropriate for male and female in your Karlach romance during the sex scene? Okay, just
one looked like she might like anal, to be blunt about it.
okay.
So
yeah,
no.
it's because I don't know if this was an intentional thing or if it's been overlooked, but when I romanced Karlach as a male and I got to the sex scene, not complaining about it, but she was on top of me, and then she was fingering my character, so it made it seem like yeah
no,
yeah
I
it
didn't
made
get
it
that.
seem like I was supposed to be a woman in this sex scene.
A female, yeah. Interesting. No, I don't remember any pegging in my romance with Karlach, because I definitely wouldn't have RP'd my character that way. That's yeah. Very interesting. Okay, because I also noticed with the romances that I watched on YouTube, and admittedly, the character that the YouTuber was using looked pretty androgynous, but the what's his name? Because I didn't recruit him. The druid
Halsin.
leader, Halsin. Yeah, his romance looked gay coded, for want of a better word, because it looked like a female character that the YouTuber was using. But the romance scene was very much like, it made it out like the player character had a penis. And I don't know if you can make a transgender character.
You can.
Okay, you can. Alright, maybe they were just playing a transgender
I don't
one then.
know if it's like a fully transgender thing, but you can definitely have like a male coded character with a vagina. And you can have a female.
Yeah, well, this character had breasts.
Like with breasts, and have them have a penis. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, maybe that's just what the YouTuber was using then. But yeah. Well, if that's the case, that's very good thinking on Larian's part then, to be able to like literally let people RP however they want and express their character how they want. Because I think and that's probably the main romance scenes that I've seen.
Yeah, because
and obviously, like with the Mind Flayer, not the Mind Flayer, and spoilers for Act 2, the companion. Oh no, we talked about him in Act 1, didn't we? But your companion character that you create at the start, they take on a different form of the squid variety, and you can have either a transformed romance scene with them or a squid romance scene with them.
So for all of you tentacle lovers out there are options.
I'd say it's actually a pretty tender scene as far as the romances go. I was surprised.
It is, but it's just you can't. Dude's a fucking mind flayer. Or the girl.
There's an achievement attached to it, though.
But it's just, I mean, you can't. The thing. Starting to sound like one of my Jamaican coworkers. The thing that. So, mind flayers are just inherently evil. They do not give a single fuck about you. All they care about is getting brains, or yeah, and they don't have genitals, so they can't reproduce. According to Wizards of the Coast lore, but you can have that tender moment, and all it is a farce, because what your guardian character is trying to do is just soften you up, and they're basically just trying to continue to get you to be on their side, to see things from their perspective, because at the end of the day they are a mind flayer. They do have a goal. They do have things that they want to do, and you are a pawn on their chessboard, and that's all you are.
Remind me, because we're kind of getting into Act 3 here, and remind me when we get to the spoiler section to bring up something interesting about that character in Act 2, if you remember, because I'll save it for the story spoiler section. And then we've got the third type of graphics, I guess, that we see here, which is the overworld, which is your exploration and gameplay. So isometric top-down, fully rotatable camera, and zoom levels range from tactical to semi-close. I can just not rave about the camera in the field enough. This needs to be in every tactics game, every turn-based game. Fully rotatable camera, and the zoom in this was absolutely amazing.
And see, the cool thing about the camera is that there is a mod to make it even better.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's
how can you make it better? It's pretty perfect.
It is. There are times where the camera height is not enough. So if you're trying to jump up to a place, you can't really do that. And this mod expands upon that and gives you better control over the verticality of the camera. So I haven't downloaded it, but it's on the biggest mod site ever, Nexus. There we go. Yeah.
Yep. Actually, that does provide a good point. Because the verticality was where I had some issues in this act. There were certain places that I either wanted to jump up or jump down to, and the camera got in the way. So that's a very good point there. The annoying place, which we'll talk about in the story as well. But okay, I can see that. I found though, the environmental detail, they definitely did clarity over realism. Readable terrain was always kind of there. Although I found that sometimes, this might be in more the mechanics, but characters would get constantly left behind when grouped if I was using an environmental movement. So, for example, back in the mountain pass, using the cable car to get across to the Githyanki hideout, I constantly had characters that just wouldn't get on the fucking lift at the same time. I couldn't get my whole party on. Plus, I had a spawnable, Raven companion as well that just got left behind. And in the Shadowlands as well, I found that characters just wouldn't be able to keep up. So they were getting that debuff that happens.
Yeah, see, and that's where I found the torches to be really helpful. Because
Mm.
before a certain point, the darkness is a danger, but you can
Mm-hmm.
alleviate that with torches. So if you had like
Yeah.
a couple people who had the light cantrip,
Moon lantern.
you could
Oh,
cast
yep.
light on individual people. You
Ah.
can have people have their torches out, and that alleviates the curse.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
as long as they've got some
Ah.
light around them, they'll be fine. Um,
See, I thought it was just the moon lanterns.
no,
So,
no. Well,
and I guess
no. Okay, so there's
yeah.
real quick. There's two different levels of the cursed lands. You have the
Okay.
darkness, which is your first introduction to the shadow cursed lands, and
Hmm.
any basic form of light will alleviate that. And then you get to the second place where Moonrise Towers is, which is where the majority of Act Two takes place, and then that's where the heavy excuse me, the heavier curse is, and and that's where like no light, no nothing, you know, like nothing will help. You have to have um a blessing of some sort to navigate your way through that.
Okay. Um. Cool. Yeah, I do wish I'd known that earlier, but that's okay. Um. I was able to get creative with some aspects of the story as well. Uh. Where was I kind of heading? Oh, yep, that's right. The fog of war. I had a little bit of issue with this. And I guess being able to like, I'm a Warcraft boy at heart. The first three anyway, not WoW. And being able to click on the map itself, like as opposed to the overworld board alternate, like your little map that's in the corner in the circle, being able to click on that and having your characters move there. Not being able to do this in Baldur's Gate 3 means that I got quite lost in some areas of Act 2, particularly when verticality came into play. Like, for example, in the Shadowlands, like, I completely missed the town that you like should probably find before going to Moonrise Towers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um,
So I had real struggles with the fog of war at times, and back in Act 1, Granny what's her
Swamp.
face's
Mm-hmm.
swamp. Yeah, I got really stuck there in a couple of places just because I didn't have the verticality cantrips to get me
You
out
see, and
either.
you're talking to me about all these issues that you had, and I'm just like, I don't remember ever having any issues like that. But then again, I've played the game hundreds of dozens of times, and you know, like I know the majority of every aspect of all the maps in this game, so I don't have any issues with this. Like the fog of war doesn't really bother me that much, and if it does, there's a
Yep.
mod for that. There is a mod to erase the fog of war if that's something that you want to do.
Yeah, but I'm more speaking for our console players
Yeah.
as well out there. Sorry, you guys don't get the good
Well,
stuff.
they're
Actually, is there mods in the menu?
yeah, they're the all the mods are have been ported to consoles as well.
Oh, okay.
But the thing is that when you're modding Baldur's Gate 3, I categorize mods in two separate ways. There are the in-game mods that you can download with the in-game mod manager, and then there are external mods that you can get from Nexus, um, that you can also download a mod manager for, although you don't really need it. But I don't remember if the Fog of War mod is in the in-game mod manager or not. That's the only thing that I'm stumbling on right now. But in any case, continue.
Oh no, that was all I was gonna say. For like graphics and just the like overall, like my characters never really got stuck on terrain. I think the AI movement was very good there, and like the screen also benefited from like the transparency filter, I guess you would call it, that went over different parts of the map as like needed to see your characters move through like dungeons and stuff. Yeah, overall I was just really happy with the graphics. Like, it benefits from being a newer game in the CRPG genre. Like, I can only imagine if 1 and 2 had that type of graphical fidelity. Speaking of which, there's a mod happening at the moment of where they're trying to fit Baldur's Gate 1 into Baldur's Gate 3 as a side quest, which I'm very happy about.
Yeah, that would be... Oh, yeah, you shared that with me earlier today. Or...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I shared in the Spectre Show chat. Yep.
So, yeah, that would be very interesting. And if that is something that comes to fruition, I think I would definitely give that a go.
Yeah, I definitely want to revisit it. They're only up to Candlekeep at the moment, which is like your very, very prologue act. But yeah, as it moves forward, I'm definitely going to keep an eye on it. Did you have anything else you wanted to say about the graphics?
No, I think you pretty much touched on everything.
Also, just to go back to cutscenes, I like how your clothes and items go through 2 cutscenes rather than just like default armor. Means I had to unequip helmets because I like seeing my characters' faces, and I could not find a setting to unequip helmets during cutscenes like Mass Effect has.
There is one, and it's not very intuitive to get to. So you know how when you're on your inventory screen and you have all your equipped gear on the right and your bag on the left, or your equipped gear like on the left and your bag of holding stuff on the right or whatever. If you go above the helmet, there will be a little hidden icon that pops up that you can click, and then whenever you click it, it'll cycle through like hidden in cutscenes, hidden permanently, or fully visible.
There we go.
Like I say, it's not very intuitive, and they did kind of hide it, but you know, it's just one of those things that I stumbled upon.
That is not where I would put it. I would put it in the video part of the settings. But yeah.
So that
that's all good. Now I know it's there. I'll do it.
Yeah. You want to talk about sound design and stuff like that next?
No, I was going to leave that for Act 3 because that's when we'll talk about companions and like the voice actors and stuff. I kind of wanted to talk about like the dialogue structure. So like obviously dice roll based. So the dice has been a foundation in D&D, hasn't it? Because it's basically like the hand of God, for want of a better word. Start off as D12, is that correct? And then move to D20?
That is an excellent question. I do not know, but I'll look it up and I'll get back to you on that.
No, that's okay. So Baldur's Gate obviously uses the dice rolls to kind of make decisions throughout as well, like in the foreground that the player interacts with and also in the background as well. So Larian really wanted to go with the what if design philosophy, and really go like, what are the players really, I guess, get into the minds of the players and go, what are they going to do to try and, like, I guess, break the game in a way. Like, what happens if a player kills the NPC early? What happens if a player allies with the villain? What happens if you fail a persuasion roll? What if you never discover a quest that leads to something later on? So they built the quest logic around the possibility so the game can react appropriately. Shows this way that players actually rarely break the narrative, and even when they do something expected. So, like, in many traditional RPGs, killing an important character might simply fail a quest, whereas in Baldur's Gate 3, the story often continues in a different direction. So, they did this mainly through dialogue trees, and the architecture is kind of broken down into nodes. So, very much like a tree. You've got your roots at the start, or your trunk, and then breaks it down into nodes and into roots. So each conversation node includes dialogue text, cinematic animations, conditional triggers, skill checks, and branching results. So voice actors reported that the internal diagrams for these dialogue trees resembled a huge network of branching connections that looked like a brain with synapses when fully zoomed out. So making these very complex because of the enormous number of choices the player can make. So for example, you might have an NPC encounter, and it's broken down into three kind of sections. So persuasion success, persuasion failure, and player attacks immediately. So under persuasion success, the NPC becomes an ally and new quest branch is unlocked. Persuasion failure might happen, and NPC then refuses to help you, and a combat encounter begins. And the player attacks immediately, the NPC dies, and the quest reroutes to an alternative outcome. So what that means is, like, things might have dozens or hundreds of branches depending on the party composition, race, class, and prior story events.
Yeah, there's a lot that went into dialogue in this game, because not only was race, class, quest, all that stuff, a major factor in dialogue outcomes, but Larian had to play the part of DM and figure out, like, okay, well, what would happen if someone decided to do this or that, or some off the wall solution that a player in a standard tabletop game would normally think of. So they had to figure all that out and try to cover as many bases as they could.
Yeah, 100%. And I forgot also about alignment as well. Also plays a part. Because then we start moving into party relationships, which we'll talk about next episode as well. But we've obviously got approval, disapproval, which leads to, like, interjections in conversations or even leaving the party. And the game consisted of over 236 hours of spoken dialogue, which makes it one of the largest voice acting productions ever in a game.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And they also had to contend with multiplayer as well. Have you ever experimented with multiplayer?
Yes. My second honor mode playthrough was done with a friend of mine, where I basically walked her through an honor mode run and got her golden dice.
Okay. Can you run me through, I guess, what the main differences are in multiplayer then?
So it's pretty much the same. You basically have a face of the party who is your charismatic person. And, ideally they would still handle all the dialogue stuff, because you would have better outcomes because of, your proficiency bonuses and all that stuff. But as far as party composition goes, you basically, as player characters, have NPCs as, like, followers, basically. So, like, it's it's one party that's split into two. And what I mean by that is, for instance, if you and I were to play a co-op campaign, the two of us could either or have one follower each, or one of us could have two followers. And what I mean by that is like for combat purposes, whenever you go into combat, it is basically who you are in control of. So my friend didn't really like having control of the other party members, so I had the other followers and companions.
And do you create a character that goes into, I guess, the host's world state? Or do you take the place of an origin character?
You can have your own character. Yeah.
Okay.
And
does that... like, does XP and gear migrate back to your own world? Or are you stuck? Like, is the campaign... like, can you only play it when the other person's playing that campaign?
I don't know. I didn't really experiment with it that much, but and I don't really remember my time doing the co-op because that was like a year and a half ago or so. But I would imagine that actually is a very good question, and I kind of want the answer to that.
Because whilst I haven't played multiplayer in this, one RPG that I absolutely loved, that I spent a lot of time in co-op, was Fable 2. Unfortunately, that was a real rudimentary system where you were basically just like basically like an NPC that you could control over, and EXP and items couldn't go back to your home world state. It had to stay in like the host's world state.
Okay. See, I didn't even know that there was a multiplayer in Fable 2.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Fable 2.
That's just like
might have been Fable 3.
I don't know. Like, that was back in an era where I refused to do online multiplayer games.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it definitely was Fable 2, because there's achievements related to... because it was the only way you could collect certain hero dolls is by going into other people's worlds. But yeah, it was very rudimentary, and you didn't keep anything. And I think it's similar with, like, the Borderlands series and games like that. So I guess, really, what kind of determines whether I'll conduct that sort of multiplayer stuff is, like, I feel like it needs to benefit both people equally that are playing the campaign. Like, and I feel like for the greatest breadth, you need to be able to migrate your character with your gear and your XP back into your own world state, potentially. That's just a personal thing of when I feel that multiplayer works best.
Yeah.
However, the reason I brought that up is because originally Larian experimented with a system where players could argue over dialogue choices.
It's interesting.
To determine the outcome. Yeah. But they obviously rewrote it in the early access period. And apparently they also changed some companion personalities. Obviously dialogue was rewritten and quest outcomes adjusted. Some characters had their entire arcs rewritten after player feedback. I'd be very interested to know.
I think Will was one of those characters.
Who that was.
I also think I know Carla got a major redesign of her character display.
Okay.
I don't know if any of her, if there were any like changes to who she is as a character, like dialogue or anything like that.
Yep.
But I know the way she looked is vastly different.
Okay. So just back to the dice roll. Yeah, so, like, obviously it informs choices. I believe it is completely random. Like, obviously you've got your modifiers. But yeah, it really does determine like the outcome of your conversation tree.
And it's all done behind the scenes too. So like, well, most of it is like if you have to do like a persuasion check or something, the dice roll will be visible.
Yep. And obviously, dice roll success is linked into charisma being the main stat there. And sorry, can you run me through also what determines the re-roll chance? What are those points called?
Inspiration.
Yeah, that's it. So depending what you do in the overworld, certain characters will get inspiration points, which are basically like your re-rolls if you fail a check.
Yeah, and the way you would get these inspirations is by your background. So if you as a party would do something that has something to do with the background of a character, like soldier, sage, wayfarer, although I don't think wayfarer is in the base game. But anyway, basically your backgrounds have like little like paragraphs that kind of describe what that background is, and if you do things that ally with that background, you'll get a point of inspiration.
Yep. And I think like I just want to, because I don't feel I can articulate just how complex and how detailed the world design is, particularly with the conversation trees. Like, I can't even begin to boggle how complex it would be to code, because you've even got like environmental reactivity, so like how NPCs see you, factions. So a big one that we talked about in Act 1, I guess, was like the tieflings. So they still come in Act 2, and you can you interact with tieflings from Act 1 and Act 2. And that all spills over. Like merchants might even refuse you service depending how you've treated them in the past. So they're having to monitor hundreds of world states simultaneously. So I feel like I'm really underselling how complex and how great a job Larian's done with this world. Because so far I haven't run into any like story inconsistencies or gaps.
Yeah, I think as far as the story goes, I think they've pretty much put a nail in that lid. I think they've pretty much gotten everything where they want it, and I don't think there's anything that they've had to change.
Yeah. That is basically all I had to chat about for like the non-spoiler section. Is there anything final you wanted to kind of wrap up with graphics or decision-making tree?
No, and honestly, I was kind of dumbfounded by everything you were saying about the dialogue trees, because it's not something that I'd really ever thought about. It's just something that you do, and you take it in for what it is on the surface level, and you don't really think about everything that goes into it. So it was really interesting.
Yeah, like, people could write a PhD on this game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just been almost a masterclass. So if that's all that we had in terms of that, we did have some correspondence in regards to Act 2. I can't yet. It's pretty spoiler free. So I'll talk about that. So first off, if you would like to leave correspondence about the games that we are playing, head on over to Infinite Backlog, where I'm Revive Pod and Fenris is
ED Jensen 90.
Thank you. And one of us will put up a post about the game. And I'm still trying to work out how to tag you, because I'll tag you in the posts when I put them up, because I've been putting them up recently. But yeah, one of us will put up basically asking what you thought. This one's what everyone thought of Act 2, builds liked or disliked about Act 2 and just overall in the game. And we'll be doing that for Act 3 for next time, and like all the other games that we cover.
Yeah.
So first up is from John BLZ, who I think has contributed to the rest of the Baldurs Gate series as well. They say, personally, it's my least favourite act, but I still liked it overall. I count the Crash as Act 1.5, but if it's part of Act 2, then it's the best part of Act 2 by a lot. It's the fact we're suddenly going into an overly dark, spooky section, and most of the interactions when exploring are roll perception or get ambushed. Aside from the 3 main story fights, the betrayal at the beginning and both boss phases, they found the combat to be lacking compared to other acts. Character progression wasn't as interesting either. I mean, when compared to the Mushroom World or the Baldurs Gate, of course, the Dark Souls Diablo world is less interesting. Best hub music, though. Interesting.
I can agree with that.
Yeah. And then Rene or Ren, I apologize if I pronounced that wrong. They said Act 2 is also my least favorite act of all 3. I find it all a bit samey with all the dark and the gloomy, which can just feel more of the Underdark, but without the fun weirdness of the Underdark. But with how much I love this game, when I say it's my least favorite act, it's not like I hate it, it's just because one of them has to be. There are definitely things that I really enjoy about it, though. The Shadow Curse does give great ambiance, and things like what happens to people at Last Light. That's a spoiler bit. We love the consequences of our actions. I'll talk about their bit in the spoiler section. Yep, that's all. Sorry. Also, there's some really neat environmental storytelling in Rathwin Town. I don't even remember going there. Like the dog and cat collars and the stuff around them, for example. That really emphasizes just how bad it went for people living there. Yep. Now I know Rathwin Town.
Yeah, it's the place with
I also
your
forgot to
first
mention
3 really big boss fights.
Yeah. I also forgot to mention that I feel like Act 1 and Act 3 in general have more memorable encounters and quests, which is why I enjoy them more. It's probably because Act 2 is a bit smaller anyway, since Act 1 is the main area, Underdark and Mountain Pass, and Act 3 is Baldur's Gate and surrounds, and a lot of the side quests are quite similar. Finding some people and rescuing others. Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. I don't know that I agree with what they said about the Shadow Curse giving great ambiance, because I just hated that it put me into turn-based mode all the bloody time.
Well, I mean, it's better to put you into turn-based mode. That way you know something's going on with one of your characters than, it happening and all of a sudden your character is dead. It's just kind of like a warning. But again, we talked about that previously, and now you know things that you can do that will prevent that.
Yeah. Cool. So that kind of finishes up this part of the podcast. We'll be diving into the spoiler wall. Once again, Fenris has picked out an amazing piece of music to go on that side. However, it would be much appreciated if you would like, subscribe, or follow the podcast on wherever you like to listen on podcasts. Red Circle is our main publisher. However, we're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts there. Also, come and join us at our Discord, bit.ly/TSMB Discord, all caps. We are a part of the wider Steam Machine Computer Gaming Podcast, I believe is now the name of the network, since the Steam Machine hardware is on the close horizon. Copyright. We had to get out in front of that, I feel. We're too poor to be sued by Valve, though, so we don't have any money.
Better to get ahead of it before anything bad happens. Speaking of Discord, we are led by Dalton Suter, aka Now the Nightmare. If you enjoy our intro and outro music, you can find his stuff at nowthenightmare.bandcamp.com. And if you would like to listen to other things that he does, Dalton does a lot of vocal covers and guitar playing on his YouTube. That is Dalton Suter at YouTube. And me, you can find me, as previously stated, as BD Jensen90 at Infinite Backlog. And you can find me as Fenris Wolfsbane everywhere else. That is Discord, Steam, Epic, EA, GOG, and Final Fantasy XIV on Gilgamesh. So come say hi. And you, Adam?
Excellent. And yeah, I'm under Spectre Approved on Instagram, X, and Blue Sky. And Adam Spectre Approved on Discord. And RevivePod on Infinite Backlog.
Nice. So, the next game for our next recording is going to be Act 3 of Baldurs Gate 3. So, tune in then.
And I guess the game after that, for those that are interested that maybe aren't too interested in Baldur's Gate 3, is Legend of Dragoon.
Yes.
Isn't it? Yeah. Yes. Cool. Looking forward to that. All right. So, thank you once again. Please enjoy the awesome piece of music that Fenris has picked out, and we'll see you on the other side of the spoiler wall.
Right.
Lace your heart with mine. Let your sleeping soul take flight. Take me through the night.
Hello and welcome back to the other side of the spoiler wall for Baldurs Gate 3 Act 2. So since the last episode, I've started another playthrough. So that's going to be much more recent in my mind. However, it's the complete opposite alignment-wise of my original playthrough because I'm doing a Dark Urge Origin playthrough. And I guess I can briefly, touch over the Act 1, although basically it kind of aligns with Fenris's playthrough for what he talked about in Act 1. I guess we might just do a quick recap for each of us about party members, like who we have and where we're kind of leaning towards a main party if we picked one.
Yeah. I knew going in that I was going to have the more evil aligned characters in my party, so that left me with Lae'zel, Shadowheart, and Astarion. I eventually did have Minthara, but that was a mistake that I'll touch on later.
Okay. So because we're at the start of Act 2, my good playthrough had myself, Gale, Will, and Karlash. Yep. And my Dirge playthrough was the same as yours. So basically just a run through of my Act 1. I ended up with party members leaving and or dead, being Will, Karlach, and Gale. Gale never made it to my party. He was killed pretty early on. And I sided with the goblins. I made it like I was going to help the tieflings and the druids, but I ended up betraying them and opening the gates to Minthara and the goblins.
Same.
And at the end of that, at the party, I romanced Minthara.
I did not romance anyone.
Yep.
It did not fit the roleplay of my character.
Are we counting Mountain Pass / Underdark as part of Act 1?
I mean, we can. I mean, it in all rights, like, it is kind of a 1.5.
Yeah.
Like that one person from correspondence said.
Yep. Did you do Underdark or Mountain Pass?
I did both.
Oh, okay. I just did Mountain Pass for this new playthrough.
All right.
So basically what I did for that, I went down, found the Githyanki who were hiding in an abandoned church, made it out like I was going to help the Supreme Mother by killing the entity that they found out lived within Shadowheart's device. You get transported into the world there and you meet your follower. Yeah, so we must have talked about this because we talked about the companion. Who, for myself, is once again a pretty drow, because that seems to be my type. And I agreed to help them because they were stopping me turning into a mind flayer. So I went out and betrayed the Githyanki and had to kill everyone in there, which Lae'zel didn't like, but she accepted that it was the right call.
How did you betray them?
By going against I originally told the revered mother that, or whatever she is, the Githyanki Empress, that I was going to help them and kill the companion, and then I got out and didn't. Yep.
Yeah, okay. Alright.
And they knew too much, so they had to die, which kind of fits with my dirge.
Alright. And then that leads us to the ruined battlefield where we start Act 2.
Mm-hmm.
The ruined battlefield is your entrance into the Shadow Curse lands. It's a devastated area, and from the aftermath of a war that took place more than a century ago, fought by Dark Justiciars and Selenites, and it is currently being dueled upon by the Harpers and the Druids from the Emerald Grove. So you make your way through the Shadow Curse lands, and depending on your playthrough, whether you're good or bad, you'll either go to Wraithwind Town or Last Light Inn. As an evil character, I went to Wraithwind Town first, because... Or before that, sorry. You have to meet up with either the Harpers or Minthara's cohort, depending on your alignment and what you chose to do in the game. If you're on the good playthrough, you'll probably meet up with the Harpers. If not, it doesn't matter. But that just kind of gives you an idea of what the Shadow Cursed lands are. It's a cursed land that is overcome by darkness. During the first moments entering the Shadow area, Shadowheart, if she is in your party, will be, I guess, buffed by Shar, and she'll be automatically protected.
Yep.
So whether or not you go to the Minthara's cohort or the Harpers, you'll eventually be led to either Wraithwind Town or Last Light Inn, as previously stated. So Last Light... Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Do we want to just jump in and talk about the absolute, I guess, how do I even word this? He's just something else. Your guide for Minthara's.
Oh, the Drider?
Yeah.
Sure.
So this was my first experience with the Drider. Fuck. Like,
yeah?
Okay. Yeah.
You didn't encounter him in your good playthrough?
Oh, yeah, but I mean, like, my first experience with the Drider at this point, like, in my journey with CRPGs or Forgotten Realms lore. And, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was my first Drider. He's fucking something else.
Yeah. So, just a little bit of backstory. Driders are, as far as I can tell, when you're in the village, the Goblin Village, and you go fight the spider, there is a area where you can go to in that area, the caverns, that you'll find writings from a Lothsworn drow who are trying to turn themselves into spiders. And I can't remember if the outcome of that is like the ettercaps that you come across, or if it's a Drider. I would have to actually... Yeah.
Okay. Because I was thinking of them... For those that haven't seen one before, think centaurs, but a spider horse half.
Yeah. So, where was I? Oh, yeah. So, you meet up with the goblins, and the goblins have a lantern that is being held by Karnas, who is the Drider. And that will protect you from the worst of the Shadow Curse. And so you have to follow him and get to... It's like a little village where you meet up with some Harpers, and that's where a battle happens. And you can kill the Harpers there. And then you make your way to Wraithwind Town, which is an old Selunite town that straddles the river. And it's where the worst of the curse is. And as previously stated on this episode, like, you need a blessing of some sort, and that's where it becomes kind of obvious with the Drider's lantern, because it's got a pixie in it that sheds light or something. So in Wraithwind Town, you come across the Thorm family, and you have Thisbald, Garangoth, and Malus Thorm. Thisbald is this big, fat, unintelligent, undead master brewer. And his interaction is kind of funny because you basically tell him a story and you drink this muck and you have to make constitution saving throws or else you'll get drunk. And then if the dice are in your corner, like, you can basically drink him to death, or he will drink himself to death. But if not, you have to fight him, and he is a very annoying fight. And then Garangoth is also an undead, but she is the toll master for the Wraithwind Toll House, and she is obsessed with gold. And through some things you can get the Flesh to Gold spell, which can be useful, but for the most part, you can play this out several different ways. It's best to make her kill herself, basically. That's the easiest way to do it.
Ah, damn it. I had to fight her.
Yeah, because if you fight her, you have to kill these little skull things.
Yeah.
Because, they give her, like, buffs and stuff, and it's a pain in the ass.
And she starts dropping little gold people as well as you decrease her health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have Malus Thorm, where you find him in the House of Healing. He's a follower of Shar, and he's got a bunch of followers that are like nurses, I think.
Yeah. Reminded me of the Silent Hill nurses. I had an awesome interaction here. Again, I'm going off my Dark Urge because that was the more memorable one, because my good character just said, no, what you're doing's wrong, and then we got into a fight. But in this one, because also I was leading Shadowheart down the Dark Justicia path. Fuck, I hate how they pronounce that in this game. I was leading Shadowheart down that path already. So I conversed with him, and I managed to convince him to set his nurses against each other. So they all killed each other, and then he ended up stabbing himself. And killing himself. That was a really awesome interaction.
Yeah, the cool thing about the Thorm family is that if you have a high enough persuasion, you can persuade them all to kill themselves. And that's the way that I choose to go, because I've fought each and every one of these, and they're pains. They're very difficult. I mean, if you're playing the game the way it's meant to be played, and not, an overpowered person who can just,
one shot
in one turn. Yeah.
Well, not gonna lie, Lae'zel was doing 40 points of damage in one turn at this point.
Yeah. So making your way through Wraithwind Town, you come across, or I guess we could go ahead and do the whole Grand Mausoleum thing.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's not quite Moonrise Towers, but you'll come across the entrance to the Grand Mausoleum, and then you'll have what's his name? Raphael. He's out there.
Yep.
He's waiting near the entrance, and he's the lovely devil that he is. He'll tell you about an infernal beast lurking inside, and he wants you to kill it, and that's basically it. But I think I'm out of whack here.
Because I actually got sent here by Kaito? I got sent here by Thorm. to find the item that he's seeking.
Okay,
And to find Balthazar.
Okay, yeah. So let's just go to Moonrise Towers then. So Moonrise Towers, they used to be a temple of Selûne. They're currently a home base for the Absolute cult, and they're led by the immortal Kithric Thorm, which becomes that becomes quite apparent at the very beginning when you meet him, because there's some goblins and they are being put to death, and one of them, branches out and grabs a halberd and just nails this guy right in the neck, and he just dies for a second, comes back, rips the halberd out of his throat, and then throws it down at the goblin's feet and is like, do you want to try that again? Just ultimate power move. And so there he's like, oh well, what's his name, the undead dude,
Balthazar,
that's it. He's like, Balthazar is at the Grand Mausoleum, and he's looking for the item that you've been hearing so much ruckus about, so go help him find this item. So then you go to the Grand Mausoleum.
I had a very interesting interaction here for Dark Urge playthrough. For spoilers, just skip ahead if you don't want to know what's happening with Dark Urge in these parts as I move through. Fenris will be muting his mic as well, so probably skip ahead. I'll just give you a thumbs up when it's good to come back on. So you meet some gnolls in the kitchen in Moonrise Towers, and they're being controlled through magic by a halfling. And obviously, because I was playing Dark Urge, I got them to kill her. But they recognize you as their master, which means because you're an amnesiac in the Dark Urge origin, but they recognize you as their master, and they can actually turn into allies with you in the final fight here leading up Moonrise Tower. So you start to find out more of your origin here, and apparently that you're a powerful person in your past life. We're good to go.
All right. So that happens. So you make your way to the Grand Mausoleum, and basically it is a giant temple of Shar, and you have to go through and do the
Trials of Shar.
The Trials of Shar, that's it. And then
how
while
could
you're
I
doing
forget the fade of Baldurs Gate 3?
Yeah. So you do the Trials of Shar. It's 3. There's where is it?
Yeah, so I've forgotten the real names of them, but like in one trial you fight shadow versions of yourselves. This other one you have to avoid being detected by entities. You go through a maze. That one's pretty easy to... the first one's just a combat trial. The next one, going through the maze, avoiding detection, I just cast stealth on myself and they couldn't see me. Is that similar for how you solve this puzzle?
Well, the way I usually do it is I pick lock one of the gates and then make my way through to the end. And then I have Shadowheart activate everything, and then I just switch characters and finish it.
Yep, cool.
Yeah.
And then the third trial uses invisible pathways.
That would be the soft step. No, was the soft step trial.
Yeah.
The self same trial, and then the faith leap trial.
Faith leap. Yep.
Yeah.
So I struggled a lot with Faith Leap, but I found a pretty creative way all by myself. I didn't even look up a walkthrough on how to do it.
Yeah.
So I got Shadowheart to cast. Well, she was pretty powerful at this point. So I got her to cast, I think the spell's Daylight, that kind of puts a light source around like a fairly wide area.
Yeah.
Because they've patched this. Like, you used to be able to do a number of ways to glitch out this troll, but now they've kind of patched a few ways to do that. You used to be able to jump straight to the platforms and just dodge it, but you can't do that anymore. You get teleported back to the start. However, after casting Daylight, I then use Dimensional Door to... well, you need to take a second person with Dimensional Door. So it was Shadowheart and Lae'zel, to transport themselves across each of the platforms and complete the troll that way.
Nice. Nice.
Because
I
if you
usually-
fall... I was
go
just
ahead.
going to say, if you fall off a platform, your character, like the character that falls off, dies. So it's not... And the party AI is quite stupid here. Like, they were just like... Asterion died like 4 times.
Yeah. I usually just walk the maze just because I've tried doing the Misty Step thing and all that stuff, and I've had instances where my character will just fall.
Yep.
And I was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna start walking the maze from now on. It's it's time consuming, but it's simple.
Trials of Shards, also really important interactions if you have Shadowheart with you. We both did. And this is kind of where you can convince her or let her, because she wants to become a Justiciar in my playthrough anyway. You can either let her do that by finding the spear, and you get some Justiciar armor as well.
Yeah, that Justiciar armor is so good.
Yeah. So did you encourage Shadowheart and support her in this to become a Justiciar?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Evil
Cool.
playthrough. I absolutely did. I talked to Balthazar at the beginning, and he was like, go find this thing. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. So I did the whole your gear thing, although I kind of messed it up because there's a way that you can have him help you in a fight later on.
Okay.
But I messed it up and I had to kill him. And then
Interesting.
yeah, Yergir is an interesting character. He's a devil spawn, and you find out that he is trapped there by Raphael to kill all of the followers of Lerthindor, who is an old Shar Justiciar. And through questing and all that stuff, you can either release him or you can kill him, and it doesn't really matter what happened.
I was just going to say I killed him because I had amicable interactions with Raphael in both my playthroughs, because he is an exceedingly powerful devil. But in my latest playthrough, I was helping him because he offered to help Asterion translate the runes on his back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, Asterion's backstory is so tragic. But, yeah, so you can do a whole bunch of things with rats and meet, I just lost his name, your Lerthindor, and you can beat him, and then that'll free your gear, because his whole quest is he has to stay there until and he's like cursed to hear singing, and he has to kill all of the followers of Shar in this temple before he can, before the singing will stop. So doing the whole Lerthindor quest and killing all the rats and beating Lerthindor, it stops the singing for him, and then he's free to go because the last one had been killed. And
There
then
we
you
go.
can Yeah, and then you can be amicable with him, and he'll actually end up helping you in a later fight in Act 3.
Okay, so I nearly quit the game at this point for a variety of reasons. First one was the trial with the invisible walkway. I got stuck on that for a long time. Second was the fucking elevator when you get all the gems.
Yeah.
Because I could not figure out how to get it down, but you have to right click on a gem at the very front that doesn't highlight to examine it. I had to look up how to just use the fucking elevator.
Yeah, and you can make your way around that if you've got fly.
Or Featherfall, yeah.
Or Featherfall, yeah. You just have to do a bunch of camera tweaking and stuff to, actually get down to where you need to go, and then just cast knock on the door. It's a simple fix if you don't want to do the trials.
Yep. I just wanted to say that's been my one. That elevator is a point of contention across the internet, because as soon as I typed it in, it came up straight away.
Yeah, and it's a point of contention across the internet because it's an honor mode killer. Because there were several instances of people getting all the gems and then standing on the platform and clicking go, and the platform would go, but your player characters would not. So the platform would just slide out from under your characters, and they'd all fall into the abyss, and you would get a TPK.
Oh shit!
Yeah. So people were looking for workarounds with that.
Yep.
But anyway, so you can help or kill your gear, and you get some stuff from it, and then you find your way to the library. And the library, you just kill a bunch of people, and then in the back of the library, you find the Spear of Night. And then once you get the Spear of Night, you go all the way down to the next place, which is where you can continue not really finish, but finish Shadowheart's main quest, and that's where you go into where the shadow realm, Shadowfell, I think it is.
Yeah,
and you meet up with her final task, and that is to kill Aelin. When I did this, I had to fight Balthazar, because Balthazar was like, "Oh no, blah 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 blah, like, this is me, like you can't do this," and I was like, "Well, fuck you, Shadowheart's my friend, and I'm helping her."
Yep.
So I had to fight
good profile. I had already killed Balthazar before this point, but Dirge playthrough, same as you. I'm on Shadowheart's side. We're doing it. Because the important thing, or the reason that he's stopping you from doing this, isn't just because Shah wants Shadowheart to do it, to become a Justicia. It's because, how do you pronounce her name, sorry? Aelin? Aelin is the source of Thorm's immortality.
Because Aelin is an Aasimar, and she is the daughter of I think it's Selûne.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, she's a demigod. And Thorm's siphoning her immortality to keep himself immortal.
Yeah. So you kill Aelin or you let her go, and depending on what happens, that changes everything drastically. I killed her because I wanted Shadowheart to become her Dark Justice self. And then we get a lovely cutscene after that of the Shadow Curse becoming way too strong to Isabel. at the Last
Oh
Light
yeah,
Inn.
we haven't even haven't even talked about Last Light.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Last Light is where you kind of head in the first instance if you're doing a good playthrough, and you are stopped at the gate by a blast from the past, Jahira.
Mm-hmm.
She's there. She doesn't trust you. She knows that you've got a parasite in your head. She's about to kill you, but then someone steps forward on your behalf and says, "Oh no, wait! This person helped me out before the Shadowlands. They're good." And turns out this is someone who is working for the Absolute. I've forgotten his exact
Well,
name.
it depends. It really depends, because sometimes it'll be that guy.
Oh yeah, and sometimes it'll be the tiefling or the goblin
Yeah,
that
the
vouches
tiefling.
for you.
It'll
No,
either
yeah,
be,
tiefling.
Yeah, it'll be the tiefling kid, or it'll be the dude that betrays you.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
So evil playthrough. You kill Aelin. Isabel fails at keeping Last Light Inn safe, and the Shadow Curse kills everyone. Good playthrough. You save Aelin, and you release her. She flies off back to Last Light Inn, and everything is hunky dory.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, it either breaks or enhances Shadowheart's connection with Shar, and she either becomes a Dark Justiciar or she gets banished from that. And then you can make your way to... I mean, depending on what you want to do. Like, on my evil playthrough, like, this is the first time I had ever seen Last Light Inn fall. So I was like, okay, well, I want to go see what happens. So I went and saw it, and it was pretty bad. There were, whenever people get overwhelmed by the Shadow Curse, they become these skeletal things. I don't know. It's like the darkness takes control of the bodies, and you have to fight them. So that was fun.
Good. Oh, I was just going to say about the good playthrough.
Yeah.
Good playthrough, you go back there and basically Jahira raises an army to go storm
Moonrise.
Moonrise, yeah.
Yeah.
My Dirge playthrough, I was acting good with the intention of betraying Jahira. So I worked with the insider from the Cult of the Absolute. I meant to kill Isabel, but I didn't get there in time. So she got captured and sent to Moonrise Tower.
Okay. And see, the way I was playing my character was as a human warlock who was after more power. So I was following the Absolute Cult, and I was ingraining myself in everything about them, and trying to make my way to the top.
Cool.
So that's essentially what I did. But yeah, Last Light Inn is a fun area. You get a bunch of really cool gear. You have a really tough battle there with the portal, and because there's a side quest that you can do with Halsin to have him join your party if you're doing a good playthrough. And you have to find this forest child, and he's been infected by the Shadow Curse, and you have to, make him see that, even you basically have to save this child, and in order to do that, part of that quest is you have to help Halsin keep a portal open down on the, not the docks, but like on the coast of the river. And while he's in the portal, you have to defend the portal against like a small army of shadow cursed individuals and stuff. So yeah, it's a fun fight. But after all that, you can go back to Moonrise, and then you can. I think on my evil playthrough, I had to fight my way through Moonrise because it had been found out that I killed Aelin. Yep. Yeah, so everybody wasn't really happy with me, so I had to kill it my way through there. And then you make your way to the top, and then once you get to the top, you have to fight a really difficult fight with Ketheric Thorm.
Yeah.
Depending on what you do, you can skip the first phase.
What?
Yeah, there's there are things that you can do to where it's in some stuff that you find out in the Grand Mausoleum about the Thorm family.
Okay.
And then just through dialogue options and knowing what to choose, that first phase where you have to fight Ketheric as himself, the paladin, you can have an option and he'll be like, okay, well, I obviously have done wrong, blah, 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 and he'll throw himself into the hole and he'll kill himself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But that doesn't stop the big fight.
Okay.
The big fight is against the Apostle of Merkel.
Before we get there, two main things I want to touch on.
Mm-hmm.
Or three, actually. First off, you find out through exploration that there's a giant mind flayer colony in the basement of Moonrise, which is where Ketheric kind of throws himself down, and you stupidly jump. I fucking hate that trope. Oh yeah, let's just jump down the giant hole. What did you... Minratha has... she's failed Ketheric because she wasn't able to obtain the device in the majority of instances. So she's punished by him in the dungeon. And you can either choose to save her or torture her. What was Minthara's fate for you?
Okay, so I came across her at the top of Moonrise Towers.
Okay.
Pleading for her life instead of the goblins. It was Minthara. She was pleading for her life, and I was like, okay, well, I want her in my party, so like I'll make sure that I save her.
Mm-hmm.
And then so you're like, okay, she's not that bad. She did everything you asked. She just failed in this one thing or whatever. And then he's like, okay, well, she's going to be sent to the dungeon to be tortured. So, yeah. So, from there, you can go down into the dungeons and you can save her, you can torture her, you can kill her, depending on, whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
My character saved her. And it was a mistake because the way my character was going, like, it was an afterthought and I didn't really feel like dealing with her. So she just stayed in my camp for the rest of the game. But I should have killed her.
Okay. I saved her because she is my, like, RP love interest / plaything for now. With my dirge. So, like, and she's actually quite supportive of your dark urges as well. Like, she becomes a character that wants to help you rise to power.
Yeah.
So that kind of ended up fitting with my RP anyway. And third thing that I wanted to talk about before we talk about the final boss fight for the act is... what was it? I've lost it. Yeah. Isabel. Actually, no, wait. We'll deal with that later. So in the Mind Flayer colony, I also had an interesting dirge option. So I'll get you to mute if you don't want to hear it, or skip ahead for those not wanting to know dirge spoilers. You actually have an interaction with one of Dawn's torturers there, who was the one that actually dealt with you before you went into the Mind Flayer ship. and basically tortured the shit out of you beforehand. So you get to... These memories come flashing back of your torture at the hands of her, and you get to kill her, and kind of more memories start flooding back there. Also, another thing, if you don't kill Isabel at any point through Act 2, your butler comes and kills one of the character that you have the most positive affect with, or your love interest at the end of Act 2. So you need to make sure that you kill Isabel at some point. But you get plenty of opportunities to do that.
All right.
Did you meet an old friend in the Mind Flayer colony? No, it's not Dark Urge related.
An old friend. Yes, I did.
Yeah, me too.
Yes. So, one of the first places that you can go to whenever you follow Thorm, the Apostle of Merkle fight, very difficult. There are easy ways to get around it, but essentially it's just juggling the things that he does to regain health, which are annoying. The best way to do that is with necrotic energy, that stuff that prevents people from regaining hit points on your turn. And that's basically what I did. I just had someone up there shooting Ilmater arrows to...
Yep.
Yeah. And then,
Yeah. Asterion's my bowman. He was he was taking it out easy.
Yeah.
I didn't have any trouble with this boss fight, surprisingly. Like most of them.
And that fight is another beast on honor mode, though. It really is. Everything is another beast on honor mode. Side note, if you want to experience honor mode fights but don't want to do honor mode run, you can actually do a custom difficulty setting where you have an honor mode rule set on like a balanced difficulty. So, something you could do if you want. But anyway, so you beat the Apostle of Merkle. Oh wait, no, the Apostle of Merkle is at the
step
end.
Back a bit.
I'm getting ahead of myself. So you fight Thorm up atop the Moonrise Towers. And then, after you beat him and his cohorts, he jumps into a tower into the colony below, and then you have to follow him.
Yep.
There's some funny dialogue from your party members, depending on who you've got. Like, I think Astarion's like, we're not really going to jump down there, are we? Yeah,
that's like, because you have the opportunity in Moonrise Castle or Moonrise Tower to explore a hole in the wall and get grabbed by a Mind Flayer tentacle. Yeah. And Shadowheart was like, why would you just put your hand through a crack in the wall?
Yeah. It's like in the Grand Mausoleum, you can come across there's a whole little hidden side quest thing about the Displacer Beast with Yrgir, and there's a spider that you can come across that you can lick. And if you keep licking it, like, you get some funny dialogue options from your party members there. Yeah. Short little story real quick. Yrgir is poisoning his Displacer Beast with love potion. That way it stays loyal to him. So you jump into the Mind Flayer colony. You come across the morgue run by Chop, who is a bugbear who is butchering humanoids to create new intellect devours. If you don't kill it on the Nautiloid, you can recruit us as a summon. Us as an intellect devourer. He's
I was so happy to see him.
Yeah. You can persuade Chop to give you the key to us. You can unlock his cage if you talk to Chop. like you'll find out that he's sick and tired of being not necessarily mind controlled, but like he knows what he's doing and he has no power to stop what it is that he's doing. And he
Mm.
basically tells the party that, he wants you to kill him. So I usually end up doing that just as a pity thing. And then you can make your way to the necrotic laboratory where you come across a death shepherd, a bunch of winged horrors, greater zombies, and 6 zombies. This is a fun fight because, like, as I've probably mentioned on air before, that I love funneling and I love using tactics here. So like, there's a part where you come in where it's just like this, not necessarily a hallway, but it's like this long walkway, and you can funnel all the enemies in there. And if you put down some AoEs and stuff, it just really makes the fight a lot easier. Yeah, in this room you find the brain mapping puzzle where you have to line up a bunch of things to open a wall, where you can get the Blade of Oppressed Souls, which is a pretty good +1 sword. A Waking Mind, which you can use to get some lore bits. Just some gear. And then I think this is the same area with the mind map thing. So, because the Waking Mind gives you the Gither's Eye Mind Barrier, which gives you advantage on intelligence saving throws.
Okay. I
Yeah.
didn't do any puzzles down here, so...
Yeah. You can also find Maul's Eye Patch and a Prayer for Forgiveness, shedding some light on the Dark Urge, which can be found on the table near the Mind Archive.
Damn it.
Yeah. Exploration. After that, you can go to the Tadpoling Center, which is, a room filled with Mind Flayer pods. Depending on what you do, you can find a bunch of or you can find Zevlor here. You can find a bunch of no-name NPCs here. Depending on what you do with Will and Karlak, you can find Zora here. And you can either save them or turn the Mind Flayer pods against them and just purge everything. Because if you save them, you also release the Mind Flayers that are in the pod, and that's a fight. And then you can also do Mizora, who is stuck in a pod. There's a little story there because, Zariel's greatest asset was captured, and you have to go save it. So Mizora commands Will to go do that. And then, yeah. Depending on what you choose, you can kill her, you can unleash her. If you save her, she gives you this really good rapier. If you kill her, then it kills Will.
She was not there for me because Will had already left my party.
Same.
The
last place that you can explore is the barracks. The barracks is just another fight against some, I guess, absolute cultists. Okay. Yeah, so in the barracks, Crest of Bone Daughter, apparently there's some stuff that you can do with Dark Urge, as you said. I usually just kill her because in all of my playthroughs, talking to her usually ends up in a fight. So I usually just end up killing her. But yeah, after that you can progress to Catherick Thorm. All of that stuff is there just to try and gain some levels because this next fight, the Act 2 ending boss fight, is a doozy. Or it can be.
Yeah, so you walk into this room, I guess, with lots of platforms, and you meet, I guess, the people behind the curtain for the Cult of the Absolute. All three of them have their own patron gods, and I've forgotten their names, so you might have to fill me in on names. But
So Ketheric Thorm is Merkel, the god of death,
mhm.
and Vergortash is Bane,
Yes.
who is the god of tyranny, hate, strife, and a member of the Dead Three, who we are talking about. And then we have Orin the Red, who is Baal, who
Mhm.
is the god of murder.
Yep. Yeah, so we kind of find out that the tyranny, oh sorry, what would you term the three gods of three evil gods in the Forgotten Realms are behind pulling the strings with the cult of the Absolute. And Gorvash then uses his power, and you see that they've been controlling a big flying brain. This is where I kind of got confused with the story.
So the brain is an elder brain.
Yes, that's right.
The elder brain is like the oldest of mind flayers. They're aberrations, and they hold control over the mind flayers and tadpole creatures. They're kind of like hive minds, like the leaders of a hive mind, if you will. And then this one is even bigger, and because it's been using the crown of Karsus, which is another like sub-story thing that's been going on in the background. So it's turned itself into a nether brain. So it's even more strong than a regular elder brain would be. And that's where you find out that this is going to be the big bad evil guy of this campaign.
I enjoyed this part, but I was also kind of disappointed that it was just like a big brain that was being controlled.
Yeah, there's more to it. If you don't understand the lore of mind flayers and nether brains and intellect devourers and all that stuff, because this is a really bad thing, lore wise for those that are immersed in D&D lore, because elder brains are very strong, and yeah, they're just very, very, very bad. And then to see that this has been turned into a nether brain is something even more unsettling. But you find out that this nether brain is the true identity of the Absolute, which is something you've been trying to figure out since late Act 1. And if you have Gale in your party, there's an option to allow him to explode the Netherese orb to kill the nether brain and all three chosen. But in doing so, it also kills the party because you're so close to the explosion. So that would end up in a TPK.
I class that as my first ending. I did this.
Oh, for your good playthrough?
Yeah. Yep. The ultimate sacrifice. Did it again. Did it in Dragon Age Origins. Did it here. Game over.
Yeah.
So Act 3, is basically going to be all new to me, particularly from a Dirge perspective, because there's a lot.
Oh, okay. So that's why. Okay. I was wondering how you got through Act 3 so fast. Come to find out you didn't even do Act 3. Got it. Okay. So, barring you don't explode Gale, you come across a cutscene plays where the Elder Brain infects Duke Ravengard, who you've been hunting, with a tadpole before the Chosen unleashed their assault on Baldurs Gate. So now Duke Ravengard is under the thrall of the Absolute.
Mm-hmm.
So the two of them leave. Ketheric Thorm stays behind. And then you go and you have a nice little fight with him, and this is where I was talking about earlier, where if you have uh, dialogue options, you can have him kill himself or whatever.
Okay.
Let's see. Hold on. I'm on the wiki now, looking up exactly what you have to do. He can also be accompanied by his daughter Isabel if she was successfully abducted by Marcus.
She was there for me.
Yep. She carries a mind flayer tadpole and is completely loyal to her father if passing multiple persuasion and or intimidation checks. Oh, that's what it is. Yeah. So, well, during the fight on top of Moonrise with Ketherick, if you pass persuasion or intimidation checks, you can ask him to repent here, and doing so skips the first half of his fight. Because he'll give himself to Merkel, and then Merkel will show up. But then you fight Merkel, the apostle of Merkel. And that's it. Aelin is captured if you saved her, and then you have to release her and have her help you in this fight. This fight can be tricky because he has an aura of like undead or something, where you cannot be healed if you are within X amount of feet or meters from him. So it's good to juggle that, or have someone with a lot of health. And then after you finally kill the Apostle of Merkel, several cutscenes are triggered depending on what happens. You're teleported back to Moonrise Tower's ground floor. You can speak with some of the characters that you met in the Shadow Curse lands. You can even go back to Last Light Inn and see the destruction or talk with the remaining characters there. But the main goal now is to get the Nether Stones from the Chosen of the Dead Three. So your next stop is Baldur's Gate. And then that is the ending of Act 2.
Okay, so party status for yourself at the end. Who's there, who's not?
Again, I had an evil playthrough, but all my people made it through, and Minthara was stuck at camp. So I was there with Asterion and Shadowheart, just Dark Justiciar Shadowheart at this point, and Lae'zel.
Okay. What happened with Jaheira, with yourself?
I stayed away from Jaheira.
Okay.
She asked to join my party, and I told her no.
All right. Cool.
What about you?
Well, my good person's dead, so Dark Urge playthrough at this point, very much the same as yourself, except I've got Minthara, Dark Justiciar, Shadowheart, and Asterion. Lae'zel's at camp. And Jaheira I initially killed, but after learning some things about her for Act 3, particularly for a Dirge playthrough, I rolled that save back. I did the naughty, rolled the save back, and she's still at camp.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for Act 2. It's a little bit shorter than Act 1 and Act 3. And there's a lot of stuff that we glossed over, or rather that I glossed over, but that's because I was trying to stick with the main story points. There's again a lot that goes into Act 2, and you could easily spend several hours here. doing all the stuff. But again, major story beats, and that's all we were going for.
Oh yeah, we could spend hours and hours. Like, you just need to look at the wiki and the walkthrough. Walkthrough's about. Are there any characters that you're looking forward to closing out their quests in Act 3?
I usually enjoy Shadowhearts and Asterians.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two that I usually do relatively quickly whenever I get to Act 3.
I have not made any progress on any of Lae'zel's. I don't think I've come across any of Lae'zel's side quests, so I don't know if I'm locked out from that at the moment.
You'll get more involving Lae'zel, not necessarily about her.
Okay.
But yeah, Lae'zel doesn't really have. I think her she doesn't really have any story quests that I'm aware of. I know Asterion does. I know Shadowheart does. And I'm talking strictly about like things that about them.
Yep.
All of Lae'zel's quests usually include her, and they usually include like other Githyanki.
Okay. So Shadowheart becoming a Dark Justiciar isn't the end of her story?
No. Good. No, there's one more thing that you can do.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know where I'm going to go with Asterion. Because after, like, there's talk about high vampires from Raphael after you get the reading off Asterion's back. Raphael tells you about the high vampires, so I can kind of see where that's going.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm basically
You're probably going to end up taking the same route that I did.
Supporting my friends in becoming more powerful to make me more powerful and rule the world.
Yep.
Cool beans. Alright guys, so that is Baldurs Gate Act 2. Next time we'll be finishing off Sound, Music, Companions and Act 3. So once again, come and follow us on all those socials. Check out our back catalogue. And thank you once again for listening. This has been Spectre Approved. I am Adam.
And I'm Fenris.
And happy gaming.
See you later.